wasn't.
I wanted to have a conversation because I wanted to make sure people really understood what it was we were doing, what they understood what our options were, and also to understand, partially because of the conversation I had with Sam, where Sam's like, well, I don't want you to do that. And I said, well, Sam, if I had to do it this other way, it was going to cost a whole lot more money. He goes, well, you can't do that either. And I said, but I got to fix my roads. And he goes, well, that's not my problem. Well, that's my problem. And so I have to figure out how to take care of that equitably in the city of Mission. And we did have a sales tax vote, a mail-in ballot sales tax vote in December, which passed. And there was an vote against it, a vote no for that sales tax. And there were already members of the community, one of which has our camera over here, who are just adamantly against the transportation utility fee, and he was also against the sales tax. That measure still passed 54% to 46%. So that leads me to believe that there are still at least a fair majority in the city of Mission that believe we need to get this infrastructure taken care of. It's vital to our community for redevelopment. We're an old community. Some of the infrastructure that was put in really probably wasn't put in that well to begin with. And I got to take care of it. And so kind of what I'm hearing is well, Mayor, you can't do that, but oh boy, you can't raise the mill either.
What gets us a right to take that position is that we write a healthy check every year of property taxes, every year. And
when you say you, who do you mean?
Collectively.
You don't mean Heartland Apartment Association, because you don't own anything in Mission, right?
That's what our purview. We're an umbrella organization.
You're an association.
We represent owners that do have properties in Mission, as well as throughout the state of Kansas and Missouri. And in terms of the way this comes down to today, it wasn't hinging on the Attorney General's opinion. As I told you, we were within days of filing our own petition when that came down. And we decided to give it a little more time, hopefully to have this discussion based on the fact that there was an opinion coming from the Attorney General that had been prompted not by us, but by other business groups in the state of Kansas who see this precedent as being a very, very dangerous precedent for the economy of Kansas.
Other organizations who do not have property.
No, that's not true.
Oh, they do?
They represent dozens of people that have businesses in the area. And I named them for you.
Well,
you took down
you named the organizations. I think BOMA was one, Kansas Realtors was another.
BOMA probably has a couple 100,000 square feet of office space inside the city limit that we represent on a regular basis. We are an advocate for the industry, and that's within our purview to bring a position forward on behalf of those people.
Okay, so just for argument's sake, so let's say council decides, because like I said, we're getting ready to do our budget. Our budgets are due to the county in August, and let's say council decides, all right, we'll go a different direction. We won't do transportation utility fee. We're going to raise the mill 7 mills. I strongly imagine that I'm going to be having a letter from you or a conversation with you screaming foul that I can't do that either.
I think it's fair game. It's always fair game. If you want to run a campaign, ask the voters to vote on any given issue, we'll accept that. We'll campaign for our position.
And I think that also
okay,
falls.
But my point to you is we have the transportation utility fee in place. We had a 1/4 cent sales tax. Mr. Nichols' group over here was saying, well, we'll support the sales tax, but you got to repeal the transportation utility fee, and they went on their vote no campaign.
We didn't come out in opposition to the vote on the sales tax.
But there were a number of people that did.
But we didn't. We
And
have been
it
looking
still
at this.
passed.
I'm just wanting you to understand that we've been looking at this specific issue for several months on our own through a large real estate coalition to determine whether or not it's a legitimate imposition. And we're of the opinion that it's not.
Okay.
And that's based upon our own findings.
Right.
The Attorney General's opinion is simply reinforcement of what we think is the truth here.
All right, so then my question is, so let's say council decides we're not going to use a transportation utility fee. I'm all ears for, and your one option is taking another 1/4 cent to the voters, which I think the swimming pool task force may be on top of that, and And when we did float the 0.5%, because that was something Mr. Nichols supported, he didn't get a lot of traction. I mean, maybe one or two other people might have mentioned it, but the rest didn't like having the whole 0.5 cent. So what are our other options?
No, I think, I believe that the sales tax is the fairest way to spread this obligation to the people who use the roads that need to be maintained.
That's a decision for our elected officials and for the, the whole
I mean, you
democratic
asked my
process.
opinion-
We're
you
not
asked my
here to decide
opinion.
that, yeah.
But that's not, going back to saying that's not our problem, that, that this, the way it is the wrong way. That,
That's what
where
that's your
our
opinion.
position is that it's the wrong way. So
Okay.
beyond that, it is up to the elected officials to come with the alternative.